Hi there. Do you happen to have 60 seconds for LGBT civil rights?
My name is Shady Balcom. I am a trans man, and I currently work for the Human Rights Campaign as a canvasser. The Human Rights Campaign is the nation's largest LGBTQ civil rights group. They're a political nonprofit that collects grassroots donations from regular people in order to do lobbying and campaigning and all of those other dirty political things that require money. That's basically it. My treatment in the professional world has changed drastically since presenting as male. People tend to treat me now with more respect, but not that much more. So the first job I ever had was working for a realtor doing landscaping and fixing up old houses for him. And the reason why I originally took that job and liked that job was because I considered, I think subconsciously, things like home improvement to be masculine, and I kind of was in a place in my life when I wanted to prove my masculinity, and so I kind of chose to go into construction, and not only because the jobs were available, but because I figured, well, that's what I'm supposed to be doing, right? Like, that's what men do. In my painting job, I was the only female-bodied person on the crew, which the boss seemed to take a lot of pride in and talked a lot about being like an equal opportunity employer and like how important it is to have women in construction, which made me feel a bit awkward. Whenever people would tell me like, oh, you are a girl, you are very hardworking for a girl, you are very strong for a girl, or something, it was always just like, thanks, yes, feminism, yes, girl power, because feminism's great and it's super important, but then it would always just be like, felt a bit like a betrayal of like, God, I don't want to be like you, but I guess I am. Everyone I worked with had already been referring to me as she, and coming out to construction workers is not a very fun thing because you have to break down a lot. A lot of them were really cool with it. It was just really hard for them to remember, and so I kind of gave up on it. But then it was also difficult because I was presenting as a gender nonconforming woman in a construction site, wherein strangers who were not on my crew recognized me as male, but people on my crew referred to me as she, which made it very frightening. I did not get very close to any of my coworkers because a lot of everyday life does have to do with gender. And the thing about being trans and being out as trans is different from being out as gay because when you could just not. Like, I could just pass. I have that option. Like, I could just be a man and I wouldn't have to, because all you're really saying is I was born female, and that's the whole big secret. But that does influence my life just as much. Like, my biological sex influences my life just as much as my gender identity because, for instance, asking coworkers for a tampon. Can't do that in construction. Once I started transitioning, which means like taking hormone replacement therapy, I started to realize that being trans was often in my everyday life more, it came up more than being a man. Being trans was often a bigger deal than being a man, and so I found that it would be far less stressful to have a job wherein my queerness was respected more than my gender. Once I started working for the HRC, it was kind of heavenly because every single morning they said their names and pronouns so everyone would remember. We have an office policy for what happens when you misgender someone. I don't have to waste time correcting people or worrying about whether or not I should come out or being afraid in general. It's nice to work without being afraid. It really is just knowing how to be polite and knowing how to respect people and know where the line is. And when you're in an environment where most everybody knows where that line is, it's really fun, it's really calm, it's like we can make jokes about our identity because we know we're laughing with each other and not at each other. The only thing that I think cisgender people need to understand about having trans people in the workplace is that you don't need to understand it. All you need to do is respect people and believe them and listen, and that's it. Use their pronouns. That's the only action required on your part. You don't need to ask them about their transition. You don't need to ask them about what it is like You really just need to respect people and listen to them.